Hey guys, Ryan here. I'm just going to turn the music down a little bit here. Bam. Just had a visit with my kids, which is so great. So I'm just kind of basking in the afterglow of that. But I'm getting tons and tons of messages and questions about how do I know if I'm feeling my feelings? How do I know if I'm tuned into my feelings? Because, of course, that's what I talk about in most all my videos. Because what I do is I keep things simple. And the path to inner peace is through your feelings. Okay? The gist of it is that as you grow up between the ages of 0 and 14, you get conditioned by your surroundings. It's just the way that this human experience unfolds. So the particular parents that you have, the school that you go to, your brothers and your sisters, just everything around you, what you've watched on TV, everything that is a part of your experience, it conditions your mind with certain beliefs. And see how it works is that when you're a little kid, your attention, which I like to think of the essence of who we are, is our attention. You know, we have a body, but we're not this body. We have a mind, we have thoughts, but we are not the thoughts. And so it doesn't have to be complicated or spiritual. It's just that kind of if you do a lot of looking and you really almost from a scientific standpoint and you try to figure out who am I? Okay, what you come to is you realize like what I am is just essentially whatever my attention is on. I'm that which notices, okay? And if that sounds too spiritual for you, don't worry about it because it's really not a big deal. And so the gist of it is that when you're a little kid, you're so free because as you know, your attention is just free. There's nothing that's fighting with your attention that's telling you that it should be doing something different. Okay, so there's nothing really that's telling you that you should be doing anything different when you're a little kid until your parents come along and say, you know, you shouldn't do that or don't do that, and you get spanked or yelled at or shamed or ignored. Okay, and so as a little kid, that's why kids are so beautifully innocent because their attention is free to roam. Okay, and then when they see something that kind of deserves compassion, kids are so just flowingly compassionate. They see someone who needs help, they don't even have a second thought about it. They just help. Okay, when their heart is open and when they're giving or living freely, which is essentially the state of young children. And what happens is as the societal conditioning and all the parenting and all the rules and all of the kind of control that is put upon us as little kids, it starts to basically kind of build an operating system into our mind. So it's like we get programmed with an operating system, just like an iPhone has, iOS, the operating system. And what happens is you kind of get programmed with that operating system. And what happens then is the mind starts to dictate where the attention should go. There starts to become rules, oh, I can't do this because this might happen. Or, I have to do this or else I'll get in trouble or whatever it is. So there starts to be kind of rules that are built into that. And it kind of sucks out the vitality of the youthfulness. So this whole path to finding yourself, finding the peace and the knowing that you're exactly where you want to be and that you're living freely and fully, it's just the process of reversing the conditioning, just kind of upgrading your phone. Just like if you have an iPhone and it has an old program on it. My buddy Paul, we were talking about these things the other day, and my friend Paul had a great analogy. He said, it's like your body gets conditioned with this operating system, and then over time, as life starts to happen, you become an adult, things aren't working the way that you want them to necessarily, okay? So you're experiencing stress, you're experiencing broken relationships, you're experiencing guilt, anxiety, panic attacks, all of these things, physical symptoms, sickness, anything emotionally or physically is essentially a symptom or a sign of the operating system needs to be upgraded. And so it's just like if you have a phone that has an old operating system on it, as new apps come out and as you could have a new experience that's up to date and modern, if you don't have the new operating system, you can't use the new apps and your phone's not functioning properly. Okay, and if every time that little notification comes up that says, hey, you know, you need to upgrade. It's like what people are stuck doing is just hitting the kind of like cancel button. Nope, cancel. I'm too busy. I got life to do. I got to go to work. I got to, watch the game. Whatever it is, you just keep hitting cancel. Well, as long as you keep hitting cancel and you don't upgrade to the new operating system, you're not going to be able to experience that phone to the fullest of its capabilities, and you're going to experience stress and discomfort and things that aren't functioning properly. And the same is true with our life experience. Okay, and what happens is we're kind of just stuck in a mode where we're hitting cancel and we're not upgrading our operating system, because that operating system, it has all kinds of false beliefs, limiting beliefs, feelings of guilt and shame, and ideas that we're not worthy of the highest form of love, that we're not worthy to be free and to be full. It's kind of a pretty crappy operating system. So the way to upgrade the operating system, as I talk about in most all of my talks, is through learning to get into your body with your attention and slow down and relax and feel the feelings that are associated with anything that brings you stress. So people are asking me all the time, how do I deal with this situation that's stressing me out? How do I deal with this situation where other people are, getting upset with me? How do I deal with people who aren't directly honest with me? Well, all of those things is just stress that's happening. Okay, and I'll show you how I deal with it. What you do is anything that's stressing you out, just notice the thoughts. Notice just your state of being when you're stressed out about something, or if you're experiencing any fear or anxiety, okay? And just find a place to sit in quiet or relax. The best you can. You can do it in your car, park on the side of the road, or, I used to sit in parking lots in my car all the time and just watch my body and bring my attention through my body. And what you do is you just try to relax. Okay, so I'll do it. I'll pick something right now. So something that's stressing me out. I mentioned this the other day, but the place that I'm living in right now, the owners are trying to get me out of here because they want to rent to somebody else, and I want to stay in here. So every time I think about that, it brings some stress up. Okay. So what I do is just relax. And then as I think about those owners, I kind of picture them being like, Ryan, you need to get out of here. Like pinpoint whatever's stressing you, whatever's scaring you, whatever's making you angry, agitated, or annoyed, and just pinpoint it. Conjure up images of people or situations that build it, that build that feeling. And then the most important thing is to then get out of the thoughts and bring your attention below the level of your thoughts and into your body. So for me, as I do that, I have a space right here that I'm circling here that feels like I can feel tension. I can feel burning. I can feel tightness right in this area as I think of those things. And as I think about them, it kind of sparks it up. It like fires it up a little bit. And so what you do is you relax and you bring your attention into that feeling. Because really what that is, it's a part of your body energetically. And when we say energetically, it doesn't need to be something weird or magical. It's just literally our bodies, everything's energy. And our bodies, run on energy. That's what food does. Food gets turned into energy, so, to fuel. And so we have energy in our body, and we have an energetic system. And it gets, the conditioning, the old operating system essentially gets gunked up. And what the mind does is it finds ways to keep our attention away from that, because when it's gunked up, it's uncomfortable. That's why when something bothers you, we call it hurt feelings. Oh, that really hurt me. Because it really does hurt. It feels uncomfortable. But generally, most people are just stuck in their thoughts about it, and then they're trying to do things to alleviate the situation by acting, and that won't bring peace. That's a perpetual cycle. What will bring the peace, and it's not gonna happen right away. It's like this is like dredging up old gunk. It's like anything that has like old, stuff that's kind of like gunked up in it. When you start to stir it, or when you start to dredge things up, chunks break off, and at first it's like, whoa, it can seem like things are getting worse. But then it's all about moving that energy, feeling it. Emotions are energy in motion, emotions. And so we want to get that energy flowing, and the way to get that energy flowing is to feel it and to do other things that we can do to express those feelings, okay? So what I'm advising you to do is to tune in and see if you can find where your stress, your fear, your anxiety is represented in your body. Okay, so when you have a thought, conjure up those thoughts, those images of somebody who frustrates you or somebody who's something that scares you, and then try to find with your attention, bring your attention into your body and try to find where it's that it's represented. Because really what it is, it's like a knot of tight and stuck energy, okay, that gets triggered. It's like it gets activated, and it's a chance to find it with your attention and to relax into it and to release it. But you have to be able to go from your head to your heart. And most people are numb to the feelings in their body because that's the old program that the mind runs on, is avoid the feelings, avoid the feelings, avoid the feelings. And so most people are numb. And so if you're listening to me and you're following what I'm saying here, if you're not able to feel those feelings in your body, which most people aren't, it took me weeks and weeks in order to really be able to get into that. Okay, so if you can't feel, if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. It's normal. I've worked with a lot of people who just say, hey, Ryan, I can't feel anything. I'm just thinking, and I know it seems like a waste of time. That's okay. Just like all good treasure hunts, the treasure is buried, and it's not easy to find. Okay, so if you're numb and you can't get into any of these tightness, these knots in your body, if you can't feel that burning, if you can't feel where your feelings show up when you have stressful and fearful thoughts, like if you get anxious and your mind spins and you're anxious, but you can't feel that anxiety in your body, it's because you're numb. And that's okay. Everyone starts out that way. It's a result of the old operating system that we're running on. It's a numbness program. Numbness, avoidance, and addictive tendencies. And that's where we get into things like being perfectionists and workaholics. Anything we do, to kind of avoid our feelings, it's unconscious. It just happens. But until we make it conscious, and that's really what I'm here to do, is I'm here to help guide you from being unconscious in these life patterns and these old ways of being, and to now bring into conscious awareness, hey, when I'm experiencing stress, there's another thing to do rather than the old patterns. And what I can do is learn to tune in to the feelings and emotions in my body. And as you do this, your life starts to come alive, and all of your emotions start to come alive. You start to feel happier. Your sadness will get deeper at first. Your anger will get bigger at first, because as you dredge things up and you stir up the pot of this old gunked up material, old gunked up emotions, it'll start to come up. And so you'll have anger, and you'll need to express that. You'll have to go through the fire of feelings, okay? You have anger in you that needs and wants to get expressed. Times that you didn't take care of yourself, times that somebody wronged you and you didn't speak up for yourself, all those old times when you didn't take care of yourself in the way that was best for you. It's blocked energy now. It's blocked emotion that's in your body, and it just needs to get stirred up and expressed and moved. And that's ultimately what I talk about and what I guide people to do. Now, if you're numb and you're saying, boy, I really, I'm hearing Ryan and this resonates with me, but I can't get into the feelings in my body, I'm numb. And if you're taking meds, that's something that's going to block this process for you too. If you're taking chemicals, prescribed medications for anxiety or depression, it's just going to get in the way, okay, of being able to truly feel things. Because what those do is they essentially just numb you, okay? And that's something to consider, is moving away from those. But a way to get away, what I used to unnumb was a beautiful, beautiful, well-written book and process by a guy named Michael Brown, who I've mentioned, who's from South Africa. If you go on Amazon and search for The Presence Process, it's a 10-week process that just really involves 2 15-minute meditative breathing sessions per day. And it's 10 weeks, and there's some readings to go along with it. And for me, it worked great because I was numb as can be when I started. And after you do these breathing sessions, wow, it starts to help you be more and more present. Your attention starts to become more and more present. And all of a sudden, I just started to come alive. My emotions started flooding out. I had never been somebody who cried really much at all. I couldn't remember the last time I cried. And then all of a sudden, after each of these breathing sessions, I would start crying, and just all this emotion would come up. And so that's my tips from me to you today. I'll talk more about it later, but that's it for now. I love you so much. And on your journey, you are safe and you are guaranteed success. All you have to do is take one step at a time and move yourself forward. Love you.